Hey, good morning, everyone. Um, I am working on a project this morning, and as I'm learning how to do this, I've had a bunch of questions about getting started, and I thought, well, let me just screen share while I'm doing it, and I'll babble at the camera, and you can see if it's interesting. But I need to go do something real quick. First of all, I need to go share this. Now that it's started on my personal Facebook because I have some people. Do something real quick. First of all, I need to go share this real quick. Give me just a second. Share now, friends. Okay, so now I can come back to it. First of all, I need to. Sorry, learning how to do this. I've actually not used Facebook Live's screen sharing before, so I'm really hoping that the audio is working. Well, I guess it is because I just went over to that other window and it started playing my voice back. So I guess we're good. So, all right. So let me tell you what we're doing here. We have this picture on the left side here, and I'm hoping you can see my cursor. This picture is actually part of a dress. So we are going to a Mary Poppins themed event, and Disney sells this dress. Actually, let me get a new window here. I'll show you the dress. Late this morning. Let me find it. It's on Shop Disney. Here it is. So for those of you who know Candy, this is a bit outside her comfort zone, but it looks amazingly cute. Let's give it a second to load here. I'm probably using all of my bandwidth with this live stream. I should have plugged into Ethernet first here. Okay, so here's the dress, and you can see it's full of these small details here. And let's actually go look over here. Oh, can I scroll? Okay, so here's our Mary Poppins script logo, and here's a penguin with a tray, and here's a penguin with a towel. So, okay, stop moving around. So let's pay attention to those because the script element here and here and here. And then my intent is to, I'm going to take a kind of a standard white blazer for me. And let's just use this picture here for a second. It's not what I bought or anything, but let's just use the picture. And give that a second to load. Okay, so my intent is, see this area under the pockets here? My intent is to put a penguin here and here that match. And then I think with the Mary Poppins logo, what I'm going to do is actually put it larger on the back here. But I figure let me work on the embroidery piece first, and then we'll sort out what we're doing. So just a second here. For the super loud typing. I should probably get a pair of headphones so that you don't have to hear me. I think on the Mac it's really loud when I type. I should have thought of that. So let me go get a pair of headphones in a second. Actually, I'll be right back. Is there a pause? There's not a pause. So give me just a second. I'm gonna get some headphones so that you don't have to hear me banging on the keyboard. got some extra caffeine while I was at it too. So, okay, so let's get rid of the blazers here. And there's the dress. All right, so let's go back and talk about workflow here. So I spent about, I don't know, 2.5 hours on this guy last night because I really don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm learning. And I watched some videos on the embroidery digitizing software called Embrilliance. And give me just a second to plug these headphones in, and I'll tell you more. Okay, so let's do I have a settings to make sure it's using the right one? Should have done this before I started. Sorry, boys and girls, things you learn. Output devices, headphones. Let's just make sure input devices, headphones. And, oh, it's out. Input is set for headphones. Input level looks good. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear okay. Oh, hey Andy, thanks for joining. I appreciate the audio check this morning. So Andy's our podcaster extraordinaire. I knew he would be able to check sound for me. So okay, so I'm 6 minutes in. I haven't told you what I'm doing yet. Okay, so here's Photoshop. This is a photo I took of the dress. You can see the lighting's terrible, but I managed to get the fabric somewhat flat here. So then what I did on this one yesterday is I went ahead and in Photoshop, I pulled out a lot of the details here, just using like the lasso selection. Then I did the magic wand. I selected a bunch of areas. And then once I had done that, I just went back in and filled it. And I had some loss of definition. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. And then I moved that file over here into Embrilliance. So Embrilliance is the digitizing software that we purchased for MakerFX. We looked at Embird and Embrilliance and Willcom and a bunch of others, and after a lot of recommendations and some interactions with the company around nonprofit pricing, we ended up choosing Embrilliance. They gave us some great nonprofit pricing, and we're just generally great to deal with, unlike another company I tried to work with. Okay, so what I've done is I've brought this in, and then what I had to do, it's not automatic. So I always thought digitizing was like you brought this vector in and you basically said apply these threads to these paths. Doesn't really. What it does is it brings it in and then you sort of draw areas over it. And where this works out really good, and I think I can drill in here and you can see that. Maybe did I? Oh, hang on. I think I have to go into editing. Okay. So now what you can see is, let me give you an example. So like the top of his head is one area. And what's good about that is you can set an area and then you can give hints on how to fill that area, so that you, because when you have like this as one big complex vector, it's a path, it's really kind of strange. So what I ended up doing was like this whole side here is one piece. Let me see if I can see it. Like this chin is one piece, each foot is a piece. And so what I found is from a digitizing standpoint, it was easier to do these in sort of these multiple chunks. But what I'm finding is if you're used to using something like, Photoshop or Illustrator, oh, actually I missed a whole step, sorry. I went from Photoshop, then I brought it into Illustrator and I did live trace on it to really clean it up. Then I took it over. And I felt last night like that was just maybe too much workflow, too many steps. And so when you go in to digitize a new image in Embrilliance, you have a choice of bringing in an image or a vector. And so my thought for today, because I have another penguin to do, my thought was to open up that penguin let me find it. So here's the picture of the penguin with the towel, and that's what we're going to work on this morning. My thought is to see if I can't skip the Illustrator vector step, because I really don't know that the vector is adding much. So, oh, hey, Chad. We are using, this morning I'm using Photoshop, Illustrator, and Embrilliance. So let me just, Embrilliance. And you know, we can go from there. So what I'm thinking about doing is, let's go ahead and just make Photoshop larger here for right now. And you can see the levels are crap. It's really yellowed. I should have taken a much better picture, but sometimes I like to work with suboptimal stuff just to see, because you can't always have optimal photos. Sometimes you're working off a photo you found online or whatever, and it is what it is. So what I'm doing is I'm using the lasso selection. And by the way, I am a total hack at anything, any of these tools. So if you know a better way, feel free to tell me a better way, because I do what I know and I learn a little bit each time, but I'm not great at it. So, okay, so what I wanted to do is just take our little penguin friend here with the towel, and then I'm gonna cut him into his own layer, which was Command-Shift-J. And now I can turn off all that background nonsense, right? And let's make him a little bigger. Because our goal when we go over to Embrilliance is just to have a bit cleaner of something to work with. And I felt like I lost some definition in too much path last time. So, all right, so I'm gonna use the magic wand tool to pick up as much of this off-white area as I can, and I'm just going to clean it up. So I'm just using the magic wand. I've got my tolerance set for 30 contiguous areas, and you can see it picked up some beak here, which I don't like. So I'm going to have to drop that tolerance back down for this outer section. What's interesting is in the photo, you can even see, you can see the texture of the fabric shows up, which is part of why I had to do so much work in Illustrator the last time to get some of that cleaned up. So, and this may even be more work than I'm looking for here, but let's see. I've set my tolerance much lower, so then what I'm doing is just holding Shift, which gives me additional select. It adds to it, and I'm going around and just picking up some more areas here. But I'm just making sure that my feet detail. One of the things I didn't like in the other penguin is I lost the toenail, I guess, the definition in the foot in the vectorization process, and I lost some of the sharpness on the bow tie. And so I spent too much time later in Embrilliance dealing with that. And I probably could get my lasso back out here and just get closer to the body. Or I could use the magnetic attachment to do it, but just trying to get close here. Like I said, I'm a hack, no formal training. I don't do this for my day job. I just poke around. So, all right, let's delete that. Oh, that looks pretty good. And we'll go back later and we'll do a little bit of a selection on the outside of the body as well to just clean that up, or maybe use just an eraser outside. So this is straight up Photoshop. I have a personal Creative Cloud subscription, and then we also we have a subscription that lives on 2 computers at the Makerspace. So for those who don't have Photoshop, use whatever image editing tool you like. You know, and in theory, maybe this could have been done in, I really don't like the way that looks. This could have been done in, I could have maybe just gone straight to Embrilliance, but I don't know, I just like cleaning up a little bit before I go over there. So let's go for my eraser now. Let's take the size of my eraser down a bit. And I'm just gonna give them a little, oh, am I on the right layer here? Nope, I have something selected still. Just give this a little clean and trim here. Get rid of some of these pointies. Now, this is what caused me a lot of trouble when I was vectorizing, was all these little points that are really coming from the, the photograph and the texture of the fabric and all that. So I just want to try to get a little closer here. So it'll be a little easier to see when we go in. But again, to improve my workflow speed, I want to try to not spend, 2 hours. I probably spent an hour last night just in Photoshop and Illustrator cleaning up to get to, that. When again, I don't know that I needed to do all that. So welcome to I Am Babbling while using software. This is where you realize that I don't know really what I'm doing. But hey, you can laugh along with me. Good morning, Jessica, Chad. All right, that's probably close enough. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this for right now. Give me a good old JPEG. And we're going to save that. Now it's probably way bigger than it needs to be for Embrilliance, and I probably should just go ahead and crop this thing right now. Just so that we aren't pulling in this really giant thing. I don't know how well Embrilliance deals with large photos, but sometimes it's better to just, okay. File, save as. Let's go save it as that again. We don't need layers. Oh wait, JPEG. Yes, save over, replace. Okay. 409K, that seems right, reasonable. All right, so let's drop Photoshop. So that was a much faster version this time. So we'll do File, New. All right, we're going to go File, Preferences, Embrilliance, Preferences. We want to be working in 150 millimeter by 150 millimeter hoop. Why? Because that's arbitrarily what I picked. I measured the pocket, and I think the, if I remember right, the pocket was like 6 inches, 6 times 25.4. So 150 millimeter hoop is roughly 6 and change inches. So off we go. All right, we're already in design mode, which you get to by clicking this icon. And then we're going to pull in this image. And penguin towel rough cleaned. There we go. Okay, so here's our penguin. And actually, this is really good. Without doing that whole vectorization step, so man, the pan and zoom on this are so weird. You have to like hit shift or hit space bar and then drag. So it's nothing like nothing like Photoshop or Illustrator, but I'll live. Okay, so then what we need to do is start picking areas that we're going to digitize. And like, let's look at the towel here. Sorry, the fin, arm, wing, whatever the hell that is, wing on the, okay. So there's a couple ways to digitize. You can use this, you could use this magic wand, and you see how it like picked up this area. But oh, okay, so here's one thing I really don't like about Embrilliance. I just hit undo to get rid of that selection, and instead what it did is it undid the last command that I ran, which was importing the whole image. So I need to learn how to just drop the selection because I can't tell you how many times I did that yesterday. Okay, so like I said, there's a couple different modes, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this mode, which is basically we're going to draw, we're going to put dots all the way around this area, and what it's going to do is it's going to look at the image underneath it and create curves based on that. At least I think that's what it's doing, although it may just be using what I put in as a guide. And I just watched a YouTube video to see how to do this. And then this thing looks like a tomato right here is open, close, outline. Okay, so now what you'll see is we actually have this line in here. And then I'm using a fill for these, not, there's like column stitches and there's fills. And what I found was there's so many different directions here that I'm just using a fill. And so now what we have is we have this really nice, fin wing. And you can see that's, that's now got threads in it. And what I can do is I can go over here, I can change the color of the thread, and I can also change the pattern, the length. And so this is what's interesting is until I go stitch one of these, I don't know if any of these settings are right. So density and length and other things. So I'm going to have to, do it. And then if I don't like it, go back in the file and change the fills. So in my mind, this is more like CNC, where you're taking an area and you're picking a tool like an end mill and saying you want a pocket and how deep and all that. You're kind of CNCing with thread here. Okay, so similarly, there's a pretty good shape. I'm gonna have to zoom out one notch here. There's a pretty good shape right here that could, I think, be done all with one fill, and then we'll pick up the bow tie as a separate one. So let's do that. Now, what I didn't do on that other fill, and with fills it's not as important, I don't think, but with column stitches it's really important, is you can set the direction that the thread should run. Oh, I also didn't show, you can go back and edit all these little points later. So when it kind of comes together as an image here in a minute, what we'll do, especially where we have multiple things that we're putting together, is we'll go back. I kind of wonder if I should pick up these lines. I think I'm going to run those lines separate though. I think I'm going to do these as one fill. And one thing that'll do, I've noticed in a lot of embroidery, they change directions on things like the fill and the column stitch patterns. It's not like the whole thing has one stitch direction. And again, this is where I don't know anything about, embroidery theory or the art of it. I'm just a hack. Okay, so let's close that. And then we can hit fill. And what the hell happened up there? Like, what is that about? All right, so we're going to turn our 3D off so that we can, I have no idea why, but it has some point way the hell up here that's like completely outside of our zone. What is it doing? This is where I get really lost. There's a way to edit the specific stitches. How do I do that? Is that this? Nope. Hang on. No, okay, so that's our fill again. Wait. I want to be working on this one. Come on, let me select it. What are we doing here? I'm drawing. I don't mean to be drawing. Yeah, this is where sometimes the software here, not so straightforward for me. That's right. This is edit stitches. Okay, so there's a ton of individual stitches up here that we need to remove. I have no idea why they're all up here. It clearly did something strange up here. I'm just finding all these stitch points now and hitting delete, which I'm sure is, I think there's another way to select stitches like this in a group, but since I don't know how to do it, and since I had that fill set at 1 millimeter, there's a lot of stitches here. This is why I say, like, it just took me 2.5 hours last night, because I just still don't know the software that well or how to. But this is functionally working, so and then you also have to deal with your jump stitches, which if you do it right, that's your stitches when you go between areas in a file. And if you set them up as jump stitches, what's nice is the machine will see any jump stitch longer than a certain length, and it will automatically trim it so it doesn't show up, over the middle of your workspace. So again, I don't know why it did this. It got confused by something, some change in direction or something I did, and it. Okay, so that looks better. Let's go back to design and scroll back up. We can turn 3D back on. Yeah, so here's the example of the jump stitches here, and they're dashed, so that's fine. And later, there's a way to, I need to learn how, but there's a way, let's see if I can remember. I think what you can do in your design when you're editing, come on, you're back in design mode. And okay, so another weird thing that happens here. See, I'm back in design mode. Notice that my image is lost, and I don't have any of my other patterns again. So like before this, I could still go in and edit this. This is really frustrating. Like I said, this is where I spent a lot. So I'm clearly in design mode. But before, okay, so now I'm going to bring my image back in. So what happened is, it's almost like once I left design mode here, it's like it had those as a group of stitches, and now it's not even letting me go back in and change the fill or anything here. So again, that's like super frustrating. Why did it do that? So anyway, watching this is now why when people are like, oh, well, will you show me how to use the embroidery machine? What they really mean is, will you digitize art for me or show me how to digitize art? And it's just not, it's not that simple. Boy, that's frustrating, because now I lost my ability to go back and change thread density or any of those things in that piece. And I don't know if that's a bug or if I'm doing something wrong. But I don't like it. So I'm going to now delete all that work I just did. And okay, let's try this again. So let's go do the same thing. Oh, what I was starting to say on those jump stitches is there's a mechanism to set where the starting and ending point of a specific region is, so that you can minimize your travel distance and your jumps, because you don't want to have to move. Every movement takes time, not that much, but if you optimize it, if you're doing a bunch of them, it'll be a little faster. But the big thing is you don't have to worry about those giant jump stitches. A lot of times that's really handy when you're doing lettering and you're not removing the jump stitches, because that would take a really long time for the machine to trim the thread between each letter. So if you look at something you have that's embroidered that has text, very likely the letters are kerned super close together, and you've got little threads that go between them, and that saves the machine from having to jump each one of those. Okay, so let's close it, and let's apply the fill. Okay, we didn't get a crazy line this time. All right, so earlier I mentioned start stop. So here's the start stop, and that was because I actually chose to start and stop here this time, which makes more sense. And this line here is the direction that the thread would run. Now on a fill, it's not as obvious, but if this was a column stitch, which was just basically back and forth lines, it'd be super obvious. Okay, and let's go turn 3D back on, and you can see, let's zoom in, because that pattern is super tight. That's the idea of what it would look like. Which I kind of like. I like it, but if I put it on the fabric and it's too dense, it might not work right. And there's guidance for different fabrics and what densities and all that to use, and I don't know any of that. Okay, let's go ahead and do we'll do the bow tie here. And we're going to start the bow tie here. And now up here, I think I can hold Shift. Nope. Can I go back one? Delete. Okay, delete goes back one. Maybe it's Option. Nope. I'm trying to get a straight line, and I thought, there it is. If I hold Command, then I get a straight line, which on the bow tie is going to look better on those edges. I figured that out last night, that some of that definition got lost on the bow tie, and just popping that back as a straight line. So there's a little curve here in the center, because that's where your knot would be, but then that would be straight. So that was a little trick I learned from watching a YouTube video. Okay, and then we're going to close that again, and we're going to add the fill. And what you'll see is the line goes this way on the fill, which is the same way that line went. But I'm thinking on the tie, it might actually make more sense to go the other direction, to go straight, up and down. Oh, that moved a line, which I don't want to do. Now, can I do Control Z? Okay, that worked actually that time. So now I'm going to get this straight up and down. And then when we zoom in, what we should see is you'll see how the tie actually has a different directionality now than the side of him, which I feel like will give a little bit more definition when you look at it. Again, I've just been staring at a lot of embroidered things lately, and that was a trick I noticed, that, because that would be his body, and this would be a black tie, and so if you give it a slightly different piece, then I don't know, I'm making this up as I go. Hey Corbin, good morning. Okay, so we've still got up here, we've got this eye. feel like we lost some. Did we lose an eyeball over there? Let's go back to Photoshop and see what. No, I guess you couldn't. I guess you couldn't. Do I have the original open still? File. Oh, this was before I saved as. Okay, well, looks like. Oh, you know what? I think I had the other one still open in a browser window. Nope. Hang on. Let me close this guy. Don't save. File. I just want to see the original image. Okay, there was not another eye over here. So I didn't lose an eye. But I do have this, you know, we've got like a little beak action detail here. Okay, so I think we're looking pretty true. This region right here, yeah, see we lost a little height here. So let's just move that point down just a little bit, and that point. And this is just, you know, the finer detail stuff that we can go in and adjust, you know, and watch these curves. But let's go ahead and do another, let's go ahead and do this eye. I'm going to do a lot of points on this one. Now, I want to go back to Photoshop real quick and look at that eye, because I feel like that's a really kind of slim, smooth shape that I think the threads caused a little bumpiness there. So I want to make sure I want to go up and then let's close that, and we'll go ahead and fill it again. I don't think directionality really matters on something that small. And let's look. Yeah, I think it's supposed to have a little bit more of a point here. So I think I'm going to need to, oh, nope, that was not what I meant to do. Not shift, space move. There we go. So I think we need to take this point here just up that way, just a little bit more to generate maybe one, kind of want one stitch up there and not multiple. Let me move this in. I'm not getting what I want here. That's better. There we go. I think that's probably a little bit more like the original. Yeah. And you gotta remember, this is going to be like really small. Sometimes I forget to zoom out and take a look and say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, that's looking good. And so far, this workflow is actually it's great off a photo without having to go vectorize. So I think that's a win, you know, is not having to go do all of that vector work. I think what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to do this wing as one fill, and then I think I'm going to do this section, and then I'll probably pick up these in like chunks just so that they're easier to do. Okay, so let's go do, let's go do this here, and we're probably going to have to adjust our points later just to get. Sounds like other people are awake in the house now. Sunday morning's usually my quiet time while everybody else is crashing. Our lovely cat decided to wake me up again this morning, singing her love for us. So I chased her around the house a bit. Then she decided to leave us alone. Okay, so I need to tomato close it there. And hey, good morning. Okay, thanks for letting me know.
She's outside. They're going to be in the theater watching.
Okay, just close that door. Thanks. Okay, so so there's another section fill. And later what we'll do is we'll actually do it right now. Turn the image off, and that'll let us see if there's any gaps or not. and you see what's missing. Like right in here, it looks like I probably want to edit this one, I think, to come down just a bit, just a bit. And you know, this is probably obsessing way too much on some of these smaller details, but you know, I want things to look good, and I want to learn. So, okay, next up, let's go do our wing. I'm just going to keep going, and I'll go do that other line in a minute. And again, that'll let us change the fill direction if we want between his body and the outline of the towel, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it helps make sense or not, but all right. So fill, and see again, we're using this horizontal fill directionality line along with the body. So our 3D is on, and let's look at that. It's looking pretty good. Let's take away the image. Yeah. You know, I'm not crazy about some of these jaggies, but I got to remember that, you know, I'm working with small little thread pixels here, so it can only do so much. Okay. Yeah, oh, actually, let me go post. Give me just a second. All right. All right, now, big mistake. I haven't saved this file yet. Doing all this work. File, save, stitch, and working. Now, why did it say stitch and working? Well, there are two formats in play here. One is the format that you push to your machine, and that format doesn't have, it just knows stitches. The other format is like the working format for the software, which understands regions and fills and all of that. And so you're actually saving, it should have saved two files. It should have saved two files here. Penguin towel v1.be and .dst. .dst is what goes to the embroidery machine. It's just stitches. You can see it's 19K. .be is their working file with all the other stuff, and you can see 930. That I wonder, that may even have pulled this image in. I'm not sure. Not sure. Okay, so how's our penguin coming along? Let's turn off our, oh, we're not in edit anymore. Okay, good news is we still see our fills. That's good. We didn't lose them like we did last time. Let's turn that image off. Let's see, our penguin's coming out. So, okay, let's keep going. Actually, I need a 2-minute break. I'll be right back because my blood sugar's getting a little low. So I want to keep going. I'll just keep it going as one video. So let me grab a quick snack. I'll be right back. I hear they teach microwave use at Stetson. Okay. So by the way, if any of you are local and you want to see me actually stitch this later today, my goal is to get this work done here, get a little bit of a workout in, and then I'm going to head to MakerFX a little later today and work on actually stitching it. Okay, where are we? Let's go ahead and pick up these lines here. You know, actually, delete. Let's do a straight line. That might be a good test to see how the straight line function works, because we kind of want some curves down here. But yeah, this is curved. But maybe introducing some straight lines might give it some nice design integrity here. Okay. And then we're just going to go over here to match up with that. So we had a great day at Palm Beach Mini Maker Fair yesterday. I went and my son Andrew went, and a couple guys from MakerFX, Andy and Harry went. Okay, going to use straight line here again. And we actually did a bunch of interviews there. We acted like we were media. We just started the Nation of Makers podcast, and so we were interviewing some folks, got to meet some people in person that I'd only met online before, which was kind of fun. I had a good day. Okay, so that's interesting. See, I chose to not follow the curve so much and try to introduce some straight lines there, and I'm not sure how it's going to look. So we'll tomato close it and fill it. Oh, whoa. Okay, so we did this complex shape. And look at these these aren't jump stitches, these are like actual stitches. Why did it choose, I guess instead of following that, okay. Maybe, so I'm sure there's a great way to edit that. What I'm going to do is just actually undo. So that unfilled it. I'm just not sure why it's choosing to do that. Or what I can do about it. Because, okay, you remember the last time I went in and I tried to edit the stitches, I ended up losing a bunch of stuff, which clearly wasn't what I wanted to do. What I could do is I could do this as a section and then that as a section, which is probably a little smarter. So, okay, I'm just going to go the long way here. Again, I'm using some straight segments to get myself down here, and then I'll curve around here. What I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to do a big old long straight segment there. More straight segments. Another straight segment, curve around. All right, let's close it. I get the same thing. Okay, so I guess that's because my start and stop, because I went all the way back around here. I don't know, something's weird. Whoops. Edit. Undo. All right, so I guess I got to learn how that works. Hey, Bill. Uh, so for some reason here, we got this. We got this little. So first of all, I like how the straight segments worked, right? They actually look pretty good when you do them this way. You get this nice kind of straight, pattern. So I think that's a win. I need to figure out, um, and uh, let's do, we want to take our pattern, make our pattern actually go more that way. Well, that's going to look like crap because it's going to leave a lot of edges there. Let's undo that. Okay, so how do we edit these? What does this do? Add a break line to a closed shape. Somewhere here, there's a way to edit this stupid jump. All right. We saved this a few minutes ago, so let's see if we can. Let's add inclinations. Let's go back here. My guess is as soon as I edit actual stitches, I've probably removed my ability to design again. I think that was the mistake that I made last time. Okay, so maybe if I turn 3D off. Okay. Now this gives me a little bit better shot here. So what's happening here? That moves the whole thing, which isn't what I want to do. Let's turn off our image. Oh. So it's like it has a point right here that for some reason it's traveling way down there. This is where I'm. So, I mean, I could cheat, right? I could, well, there's a way to move the start stop. Maybe that's what I need to do, is put the start stop in the middle or something, maybe. Nope, that didn't change anything. Let's put that back. Phone a friend. Okay, so that's nice. That lets me see the path that I originally created. Scroll down so I can see the whole thing. Which that path seems pretty logical. I just don't know how to get that out of there. All right, so I'm going to do what I know how to do and not spend 2 hours on that right now. So what I'm going to do is just keep it even more simple. We'll just see if we can't get away with doing this section here. Well, let's see what happens if we do just that section. Do we still get a crazy fill? Nope. They look better. Okay. So then I can kind of do the same thing here. Although what I might do is I might pick up all of this, and I guess this is where if you do this as a pro, maybe you start to learn these things in a way that makes it easier. I kind of feel like this is software quirkiness on the part of Embrilliance personally, but but it's just as easy to do some multiple regions here. Okay, I think what I want to do is see remember the body had an inclination line that way. I think what I want to do is make the inclination line on these. I think they're both, do them instead of that way, do them up a little bit that way. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. As soon as I did that, the inclination, did you see that? It was all good, and then I changed the inclination line. And watch what it does. Oh, it didn't do it that time. A minute ago, it added another line over there. Okay. So now let's go do this section here. This one's a lot of curve. We're just going to tap along it here, not worry about trying to get. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do, actually, let's live on the edge. Let's go do, nope. This as one piece. This is a point where somebody who knows what the hell they're doing comes on and is like, oh, all you got to do is click these 3 buttons and you're done. Oh well, practice. Fill. Same thing. Okay, so now this is that the body? Is that the towel? I feel like that should be inclined the same way as the towel. Give me just a second. Whoa. Okay. My computer has apparently decided it wants to force restart for updates. It just started closing software on me. So I guess I will resume this later. Oh, hey, yes, it got interrupted. Did it get interrupted before it stopped the live feed? Okay. Well, that was exciting. I hope I didn't just lose my changes. This is why it takes me forever to do anything. Oh, that's fun. All right, well, let's go back and knock out the towel real quick. This is life, boys and girls. I told it save changes, but it still didn't apparently get them saved before it dumped. So, good news is I got some practice doing this part now, don't I? Bam. Why am I not seeing stitches? Did I not hit fill? Okay, and then we want the inclination to go, whoa, no. Where's my inclination lines again? Okay, fill. What's up here? We're acting really weird. Fill. Okay. Sure, I've got my inclination handle this time. File. Get a V2 saved in here. close, fill, 3D, turn the image off, see the whole thing. I kind of like it with the straight lines like that. Although it looks like I made it a little wider at the top here on this one. See that? I feel like that line needs to come in a little more parallel. And this one needs to come, curve that just a little nicer. Yeah. And then see how this one popped out at the end here? I need to go this way a little bit more. And on this one, we'll take it up to meet it more nicely. Yep. Okay. Click save. I need to get in the habit of just clicking save after every new path. Bill's asking, how was Palm Bay Mini Maker Fair? It was great, Bill. Wish you could have gone. So we had a good time. We shot a bunch of video, but I was so tired last night. I just left all the cameras and everything at the makerspace, so I haven't pulled any of it yet. I'm really hoping that we got the audio right. We were shooting with a shotgun mic, and didn't take a lot of time to make sure that everything was working right. We were kind of just run and gun. So hopefully we got all the audio. If not, we got a ton of B-roll for them. I love going to the mini fairs though, because I mean they're just so nice. It's just like you've actually got time to talk to people, and it's just such a great vibe. Those communities, they're just like they're just happy that everybody's together, and whereas the bigger fairs, they have an energy that's all their own, which is fantastic, but it's a lot more frenetic. It's a lot more of a, this huge buzz, and so much is going on, and you don't want to miss anything, and it's just got one of those stupid lines again. It's just not as I don't know, it's just different. I thoroughly enjoy both. All right, so let's see maybe if we change that inclination line, if we'll get lucky, because I noticed, so that might be part of our trick, is play with the inclination lines when that happens. Good to know. All right, I'm going to take my, no, I'm going to hit save again. All right, so we're an hour and 4 minutes in, but we're doing pretty good here. I had to do a little bit of rework, but that's okay. I actually feel like this is functionally a lot better than what I did yesterday with the other penguin. In fact, I may end up rebuilding the tray penguin based on how this is going. But I think what I'll do is I think I'll build this one, and then I'll stitch this one and see how it comes out. Look at me getting crazy with this much longer area this time. Little penguin belly action here. This is not how I'd intended to spend my day today, but I need to learn this. So, and Candy is super excited about her costume, as am I. And so why not? Okay, tomato close. Don't like that last arc that ended up there. So we're gonna have to edit that one here. Boop. Nice. Fill. Okay. And then what we may want to do is actually add more inclination lines here. That may be our secret. No, still not working. So what this will do is this will actually like tell the pattern to change as it goes up. Change orientation. Like I know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so see, so this is something I'm going to have to like spend some time and research, because I don't want this line here, and I don't know how to turn 3D off. I don't know what is causing it. And it seems to be when I have these fill areas that change direction, there's just something going on here. It just isn't. Oops. So if I did it as a column stitch, it's just super happy. So it's something about when I fill, and the fill pattern is just not digging it here. Oops. I'm in some kind of weird mode here where I so maybe I shouldn't be trying to use fills everywhere. See, it's like this one fill goes, oh, I'm going to go way over here for no good reason. Just smoothing up a few of these little guys here while I'm at it. Oh, oh, oh. Look at that. Look at that. Did it go away? Maybe. All right, boys and girls, so if all else fails, edit points until you get what you want. I don't know. All right, let's turn our image off and let's go back to 3D and let's, okay, this is looking tight. Like I'm actually super happy at how this looks compared to what I ended up with yesterday with the other one. So I'm actually liking this process quite a bit. So is there any way for me to see who's watching? I can see that I'm live. I can see that 2 people are watching, but I'm not getting. I know on mobile I can usually like see who's on. Anyway, all right. Well, I hope this isn't completely boring to you. Let's turn our picture back on here. Let's get this fin done. I want to clean up the tie a little bit. Just looking at it from this level, I'm not digging the tie. Actually, yeah. Let's go ahead. Oops. I keep using the wrong thing to scroll. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do. I think what I'm gonna do. Why didn't I take that point up there? I probably should have. Well, I guess I'll do all of this as one shape. So again, and I'll do my start stop here, right? Because I don't know if it makes a damn bit of difference. Okay, so wait a second. That's not what I want to do, because that's going to fill that entire region. Think about this. How am I doing that? Okay, I'll do this as one here. Come back down here like this. I'm sure there's a way to do an inner and an outer on the path, but I'm a little not good at that at the moment. Ugh, these look like crap here. Oh. I got to remember not to undo. I got to remember to use delete when I'm messing with selection points. So there's your pro tip. Don't hit Control Z if you just want to go back a selection point. Hit undo or hit delete, not undo. All right, let's close that. Let's fill that. See the same thing here. We got this. We got this problem here. Oh, that was a handle. Trying the inclination line trick. Yeah, there's just something with the fill here that causes problems. Oh, not what I meant to do. That's an undo. Move my start stop over to here. Oh. Optionally, can I delete that point? Let's try moving my start point over here. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Hey, okay, seems backwards though. Seems like I should move my start point to here and my stop point to up here. Didn't make it. Now see, that didn't do it. All right, what the hell? All right, now we need to pick up this line here. I don't think I'll be doing professional embroidery anytime soon. Probably could do a little bit more work to make that not look tacked on here. To make it look, see this line here? Be interesting to see how that integrates. I feel like that whole thing got, oh, I feel like that whole thing, oops, could get moved down just a tiny bit and then pull those over. Uh-oh. Again, maybe if I zoom out, like, nobody will care. Looks good. Or I should say, good enough. Let's hit save again. We almost have a penguin. Oh. Yeah, Chad, so art's basic. I mean, but it's also very inexpensive, right? This is, and I don't even have all the features turned on Embrilliance on this machine. But if you're thinking about Embrilliance, let me know. I will tell you the deal that they made us, which I'm pretty sure they'd be happy to extend to any other nonprofit, given that when I talked to them, they were very, very chill. So. All right, we got a proud penguin chest here. close it, fill it. Oh, see, I got another one of them little funky lines. Let's select it again. Now, a minute ago, we got it by moving our start stop. So let's start it down there. Let's move our, whoa, not that point. Not what we wanted to do. Move our start stop up to here. Didn't help. Let's move our start point over. Yeah, there seems to be some weirdness with with these fills and where you start and stop. Well, I could probably live with that extra line there, but I know it's there and it's bugging me because I want to do the right thing. I don't want this extra line here. Oh, it doesn't look bad. What if I just actually brought this point out a little bit here? Made the chest a little bit more proud. And maybe I should be using column stitches for these edges and then fills for the areas that might make more sense. Here, I'll show you an example here. Let's see. Let's go back and look at that. Right, and let's take away our image, and then let's click on that again, and let's switch it to a column stitch. So that, probably makes more sense on these line areas than a fill. Yeah, that's one of those things I'm gonna have to mess with. Like, I need to actually, get to the embroidery machine and try it to see what it does. Okay, let's turn our image back on. Let's get the rest of the face features here. A little chin action here. Based on how much fun we had with changing directions on those, I think I'm going to do these as individual segments. And close and fill. Yay. Let's go do this other one. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If this jacket comes out the way I'm planning, I'm going to have to find more than one occasion to wear it because I'll be pretty damn proud of this work. Okay, tomato close, fill it. For those who didn't catch this earlier, I feel like this looks like a tomato, so that's why I keep saying tomato close. All right. Yeah, that looks great. I really like that. So I had a lot of trouble with this on the other penguin, and I feel like this process is working a lot better. Okay, and then let's do our, what is this? Is this a beak? I feel like I should know penguins better than this. Is this a beak? Is this a bill? I guess birds have beaks or bills. I don't know. What's the difference? Who knows? Somebody school me. Okay, so now we're going to fill, but we don't want black. We want, what was the color I used in the other one? I feel like it was 1038 maybe. No, I feel like it was light pink. All right, well, it doesn't really matter in here because my software, the machine that we use, it doesn't take thread colors anyway. It's just a matter of what thread you load for that section. So it does not matter. Yeah. All right, let's look at some of those points. Let's turn off our image here, just make sure we don't have any. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Not load image, turn off image. Whoop. I'm confused. Where's my, didn't I just have a fill? Did I just hit undo or something? Damn it. Where'd it go? All right, I must hit undo. Let's get a nice curve up here. Close it? Maybe I didn't close it. Fill it. There we go. And there's our color. We need to figure out which inclination direction we have. Now, remember, his body is this horizontal, so I feel like this one, I'm going to do vertical. Oh, yeah. I don't like this little bump right here. Kind of want to, oh, no, that was too much. Let's zoom. Pan down there. Feel like we want to just a little bit more roundy round. There. Yeah. Yeah. Now wait, what's going on in here? Oh, is that the image? That might be the image underneath it. Yeah. All right, and then we want to just take this guy just a little closer here. So just a little closer here. Just in case you're wondering, yes, I do talk to myself like this when I'm working without live streaming. Yeah. He's a good-looking penguin. So dapper. Okay, save. All right, let's go back real quick and let's pull up Photoshop. Look at this. So there's a little bit of beaker bill or whatever it is below the mouth line. I feel like this got a little fat on us, so we're going to want to trim that up just a little bit. Why is it not? Oh, I need to get back into design. Okay, so we want to slim this just a tiny bit here. Then we're going to go back to this guy, make it match. Got a little weird on crooked here. See that? Oops, that's our inclination line. Leave that alone. Choose that one. There we go. Yeah. Tight. All right, turn our image back on. Look what I did. When I was working in the image, I accidentally erased that part under there. See that? So I'm going to freehand it. Living on the edge now, getting all cocky here, like I know what I'm doing. All right, so let's make this. Yep, I sure did. I erased it. I still feel like this is just a little fat in here, but overall, I'm pretty damn happy with it. So let's do this. Let's go. We're going to start here, and then we're going to come ever so slightly down here like this, back up here. Hashtag I am not an artist. Fill. And wait, our inclination's wrong, remember? Because we made it vertical. Because it should have the same pattern as that, which is vertical. Now, the other thing that we could do is you could make this region and this region the same, and then this one will go over it, and then at the point that it goes over it, what you have is the software will automatically take out the overlap. So this needs to be a little bit more slight here. Still a little fat for some reason. Okay, and then if we pull this fill down, that goes over it now, which is what it's supposed to do. This comes down. Feels a little slight in here. This tapers just a little bit more here. The problem is your stitches are. What I might want to do is just actually pull this whole thing in here. Whoa. Let's delete some points here. Let's clean this up. Let's move start and stop. Whoa. Whoa. Give me start. Let's move you over here. Give me stop. Let's get you out of the way. Start and stop there. And then let's delete that point. What is this? Oh, is that the image? Is that crap from the image? That's crap from the image. Take this point out more. How do I add a point? Can I add a point? Hey, look at that. No, I don't know that that's what that does. Feels like I added a point, but I think I'm gonna. This is so close. I think I'm. Let's move this one down a little further. Just pull this out a bit. Whoops. That's pretty tight. That's one smug penguin. All right. I feel like my bow tie lost some. It just lost something right here. I think this got a little fat up in here. I don't know, I might have just made that worse. That was actually better. I think it's that this is supposed to be just ever so more slight than it is. Okay. That's a good looking penguin. This point here, I'd like it to come down just a little bit more definition there. Okay, well, we're hour and a half in. Holy cow, it's 12:30 already. And feeling a lot better about this guy. Did 2.5 hours on the one last night, so I guess I'm a little faster. But I also feel like the outcome is much better. So, whoops. Get out of the way. All right, let's get the feet in. This is something, the feet, I really did not like on the other penguin that I did. So I really want to get the feet done properly on this guy. Actually, I'm finding it helpful, just a note, to have Photoshop up and the original image up as well as the trace, because the trace has got a lot of noise to it from where I deleted things. And maybe I shouldn't have done the edit. Maybe I should have just brought the damn image straight in, or maybe removed the outside stuff, but not tried to remove the edges. Voila, 1 foot in pink. Let's do the other foot in pink. Now, you'll notice that I just directly covered up the foot definition, those black lines. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do those. I think they're just going to overlap. I think they're directly overlap. We're going to let the software deal with that. Tomato close and fill pink. And when we did our fill on our beak, we did vertical, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm going to do that again here for no good reason. Did that one change? Yeah. Okay, so there's those two. Now we need to, is there a way to turn off visibility while I have something on? I guess I can do no fill for the moment. No, that just did something very weird. No pattern. I guess it's just a fill with no pattern. Interesting. Okay, or I guess I could turn off the fill for a moment. I wonder if there's a way to turn off an item's visibility. I need the little eyeball. No, I can see move earlier, move later. Well, let's just take off the fill for the moment on that one. And no, where is it? This one. And then let's go ahead and do these pieces here. Huh, why is it not, did I not fill it? There it is. All right, that actually looks way better than the other penguin. So let's keep going here. And I think it was because I just, like, the shapes got weird when I vectorized them, and I lost some of the original integrity of the shape. Whereas this, I'm going more to the original pattern, and I think it's good. And we can, like, that ended up being a little fat, so we'll want to just trim it up a bit here. Like, yeah, you're just like, you ended up just a little hefty here, buddy. Oh, no, not what I meant to do. My stomach is saying I have not had lunch yet. Well, I had a snack. Still feels a little fat, but I think we're going to go with it for now. And then let's turn on that foot fill. And then bring this one above it. Oh, what did I do? What did I just do? Okay, I need these two to move above that. That didn't work. Okay, so then I need, is this the fill for the foot? Where's the fill for the foot? This one. How does this work? Is it order? Maybe it's order. Maybe it's, okay. Yeah, it's stitch order, not layer order, if that makes sense. So it's backwards of like Photoshop and Illustrator. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, we need to keep this guy slight. Close fill. They're kind of supposed to taper a little bit more at the top too. And I don't know that I really did that properly on the other ones. Well, that's a funky vector. Funky path. Probably good enough. All right, let's turn this fill back on. And again, it's order. So there it was. That, boys and girls. Turn our image off. What's going on here on the foot? Is this just like an artifact of viewing? I thought I was making those vertical. Oh, because I changed the fill, I lost, when I turned the fill back on and off, I lost the inclination line. Yeah, that looks better. All right, let's see. Joe, so when will you be doing this for $10 on Fiverr? That would be never. Yeah, that would be never. You know, I also think the people who do that on Fiverr, I think they're using Willcom, which is like $4 grand, and I think Willcom has some. I'm guessing they do this all day long, so it's probably easier. Hot damn, that is a good looking penguin. All right, so now you see how my okay, this alternating order over here. So what part of the reason for that is because so it would be like the head would have to change over and over and over again. So what we could actually do is because this has now in this case the black doesn't actually go over these butt up against each other, but in this case the black needs to be done after the pink. So I think what I would do is actually we could move the black, so it's a matter of we've got these two, which we could move way down here in the order. Okay, so now then these two could be done at this. These two could be done at the same time, right? So now we're down to 2 color swaps, and then what we would do is we could do all of the pink at the same time. So what we would do is we'd actually get, we would get all of our body details. Then we would get our pink, and then it would switch back to black, which isn't a problem because if you were doing again, you'd actually do more black anyway. So that's really not that big of a deal. The other thing that we could do is actually bring all 4 of these up, and then do it up here. Now, there's some reasons why you might or might not want to do that. Not that I really know what the hell I'm talking about. But part of it is, one of the things I've seen is if your fabric stretches at all, it's good to have some of the outside bordery stuff before you do a lot of fills, but I don't actually think it's a problem on this one. So the other thing that I'm tempted to do here is I'm tempted to actually fill this towel in. Now on the jacket is white, but I'm kind of tempted to do like another little accent and white thread this towel. Now I could also white thread his whole chest, and but I think I'm going to stop there. Actually, I'm going to hit save. I've got 2 colors, and I think he is going to look fan-damn-tastic. And then now let's compare him. Can I open 2 files at once? I don't know that I can here. I'm going to throw him to the printer. What's nice is when you print, it gives you the image, and then it gives you the other. Oh, shoot. Now, this is something I didn't think about, right? I made him, I didn't set a preset size, and I might have to scale him a little bit because I need him and his complementary penguin to be the same size. But I think I'm going to end up redigitizing the other penguin, so I'm not going to really worry about that too much right now. So did I actually print? I think I did, but I'm not sure. So, oh, what I was starting to show you was what's nice is it'll actually print out your color charts too and show you what gets printed for each one. So I'll hit print again just to be safe. Yeah, so there's a penguin. Took about an hour and a half. I lost a little bit of time. I could probably do this. I could probably do the other one again now, I'm guessing, in less than an hour. But I'm pretty damn happy. If he embroiders and looks like this, that's pretty good. So, all right. So that's our penguin. He's saved. We have our .dst file. So now what I would do is I would put that DST on a zip disk, or I have a USB floppy because the machine takes USB, takes floppy. So I would just put the USB floppy in this, copy it over, and be done. So I'll live stream later when I'm at the space and I'm actually embroidering him. I'll probably start with him. I really like him. Although the Mary Poppins logo came out really nice too. Not as I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. On some of these, it's like a little bit more pixelated here. I think I don't know that I filled with the same density here, and so I may need to go back. Yeah, see here I'm using 3.5 millimeter. I think I'm going to switch that if it'll work. I'm going to switch that down to 1 millimeter and get that a lot tighter. But these curve edges. Oh, and see when I do it, I lose this center. So I may end up redoing this one too. Now that I've learned a little bit more. But in general, I'm happy with it. Yeah, I don't know why when I redo the fill, I lose that center hole. But again, stuff to learn. I'm going to close. Oh, do I have multiple files open now? I'm trying to figure out how I switch between windows. View. Does it show me? Oh, look, I've got multiple. Maybe that's recent. Show all windows. Do I have multiple windows open? No. Anyway, all right, I'm going to close this. Save changes, don't save. Oh, no, Penguin's still open. One of these days I'll learn how to choose between windows. All right, file, close. And all right, hour and 46 minutes. Have a good afternoon, all.